You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half of the Factor Uncensored. The Houston Independent School District is beefing up its arsenal just in case there is an active shooter, and we know just how devastating that can be. School board members voted Thursday night to allow the superintendent to spend more than $2 million in additional police equipment, including rifles, shields, and gun safes. Now, meanwhile, six schools in Madison County, North Carolina, will allow their school resource officers to have access to AR-15s. This is after the deadly shooting in Uvalde, Texas. We all remember that as well. We discuss it tonight with our panel.
Cody, let's begin with you.
Well, okay, start with me. Look, it's hard for me to kind of grasp the need for something like that. Just from the fact, look, these events, as horrific as they are, they're terrible. Look, I've lived through it. They're incredibly rare, incredibly rare. My son, who's a teenager and drives to high school, has a better chance of something happening to him on the way driving to school than an event like this. It's just probability-wise, it's just not there. Now, the question I would have, look, and that's up to the board and up to the administration, everybody else who made this decision. I still question, it's like, where are you going to put them? How are you going to lock them down? What kind of lock are you going to use? Is it going to be a tumble lock, like on a safe? I mean, if something's really going down, it's going to be impossible to somebody to physically and realistically open that up within a really need of time, right? I mean, as being a prior administrator, I would just have 1,000 questions about how this was going to be laid out and how this was going to work, right? I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at this point. I mean, until you get more details, it's hard to really understand or get a grasp.
But it sounds like, Cody, you just wouldn't feel comfortable with an AR-15 on campus.
Again, I don't think it's whether or not I feel uncomfortable. It's just, as an administrator, you would have 1,000 questions in order to make yourself, look, if this is what the community wants, right? You have to realize that if this is what the community wants, fine, then how are we going to administrate that? So are we going to have just a leaf lock kind of thing that's going to lock behind these things? How are you going to get access to this? What happens when the school's closed? How does somebody breaks into the school? Are these put into what kind of a safe? You know, there's just like a bazillion questions. And if somebody were to use these things in the middle of, you know, how about if it was, heaven for, the way I think about it is like if somebody used one of these things and heaven forbid they missed and they shot a kid, now what? There's just a bazillion questions. I mean, how would you realistically administrate this so where everybody feels that it's being handled properly?
Let's bring in Jackie Anderson, president of the Houston Federation of Teachers. Jackie, you were on the front lines and now you represent teachers. Your thoughts on having AR-15s on campus like they're doing in North Carolina?
Well, Isaiah, I agree with Cody in a lot of ways. There's just way too many questions unanswered for a move like this. It would be very dangerous to me because who is going to be the person responsible for opening a safe? Suppose the school is broken into and the gun is stolen, the AR-15 is stolen. Is the person that's responsible trained? I'm against anybody having guns stored on a campus. This will be tantamount to saying the teachers should have guns on campus, and I'm totally against that. It's way too many questions left unanswered for that kind of move. And again, I agree with Cody. This is a rare situation, and what they're doing is overkill. It's overkill.
What would you guys recommend for a school district? What kind of safety measures? And obviously, like you said, that's a open-ended question with a lot of potential answers. But if you can break it down and put some security measures in place, or maybe one weapon on campus, what would it be? What's your ideal situation to deal with an active shooter coming onto campus? Cody, let's begin with you.
Like, again, I think this comes down to what the community wants, right? Because
let's say you're the community though right now.
Okay. Well, Look, I was a big proponent of allowing police officers to randomly use, say, like, because police officers often have to do their paperwork and stuff like that in their car, right? They sit in their car, they type up the reports and stuff like that. I was a big proponent of allowing police officers to sit in the parking lot, use their Wi-Fi so they can sit there and do their paperwork and stuff like that, and have them come randomly. That way nobody can track it.
On a school campus.
On campus, but they pull in just in the parking lot and they use the Wi-Fi and they just do that. But it's very random, so that way nobody can sit there and say, okay, they show up at 2:00 every day, right? So that way, or some kind of rotation or something that happens, so where it's less likely for somebody to track those movements of that security going through the system. But again, I think it comes down to, like, what else does the community, because what you see in Texas is not going to necessarily work in Connecticut. And what works in Connecticut is not going to work in, say, Montana. It's just a completely...
And you have different people with different mindsets in different parts of the country. Jackie, let's hear from you. What would be your recommendation to deal with an active school shooter if you could do one or two things on campus?
The ideal situation for me, Isaiah, would be to have trained law enforcement officers with the proper weapons to handle a mass shooting. To me, they would need to have some kind of special training, and they should be responsible for those weapons. They should not be locked up in a school or anywhere. So when they arrive with it. Now, there are safeguards that can be put in place on campuses to avert people getting on the campuses that don't supposed to be in the schools. Making sure doors are locked. There's things that administrators can do to keep those schools safe. If they are breached, it gives the officers time who are trained to get there.
Well, if I could make one point about that, though, this is where it starts getting crazy, because the police officers in Uvalde were supposedly trained and they didn't do their job.
All right. We want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Always good to see you both. Thank you.